What's good, Dean Winchester? I'm your guide, Q. Today we're looking at some of the best Neckbeard stories of all time, so they better be good, we'll see. So this legendary story is entitled My 300-Pound Neckbeard Vampire Life. Long post, but I had just found this sub and wanted to share my best Neckbeard tale. This happened back when I was in high school, but we had a vampire pack, as they called themselves, of Neckbeard vampires at my school. I don't mean they just dressed decked out in the tackiest Hot Topic ensemble they could find, either. They full-on tried to convince people that they were real-life vampires, up to and including fucking hissing at people they were mad at. For a group that bragged on and on about how different they were among a flock of sheep, they looked like they came from the same cookie cutter, with patchy beards, unwashed hair, trench coats, fedoras, and those real ugly baggy trip pants with all the chains. Even the single female Neckbeard vampire dressed like them. Okay, I just want to say right off the bat, I will not accept any fucking trip pant slander. These things look sick. I'll put a picture on the screen. They are dope. They are epic. I would have owned them, but I didn't have the balls or the funds to purchase them, so it's my greatest shame. Anyway, all of them claimed to have abandoned their mortal names and insisted they be called edgy names like Chaos, Destruction, and my favorite, Shadow Vein. They'd legit even argue with teachers who'd call them their real name, like Steve. Whenever you called them out for being able to stand in sunlight or show up in pictures, they would say some dumb shit like, that's just anti-vampire propaganda pushed by the church and Hollywood. The worst was how disruptive they were in class. They would answer every question with some goofy-ass dark answer that had nothing to do with the question and sounded like it came from Jared Leto's junior high poetry journal. At one point, the female Neckbeard decided that she had a crush on me and wasn't going to take no for an answer. I'm talking going as far as just showing up at my house and sitting on the porch waiting for me to come outside and leaving creepy little deviant fantasy-filled love letters on my locker. You want to know how I finally got rid of her? I had to play their game and make up some elaborate lie about coming from a long line of vampire hunters. I was just being a smartass, figuring she'd realize I was just mocking her, but they were so deep into their delusion that she acted like it was real, even handing me a sad note the next day about how crushed she was that destiny had forced us apart. I'd be lying if I said I didn't have the tiniest bullying streak when I was a teen, but I couldn't help myself around these sort of people. I hung out with the actual punk and goth kids. Oh my god, we've got a gatekeeper here. You guys aren't real punk or goth, you're just poser vampires. So you can imagine how many of my female friends got harassed by Nosfer Dipshit and co. I once brought a spray bottle to school filled with holy water I got from the local church and went around lightly spritzing them since it was likely the only shower they had that week, only to be met with the previously mentioned hissing. My favorite interaction was the time I got to class early and left a crucifix and garlic on one of their desks. When they waddled in, they saw it and were furious and instantly screamed at the teacher about it. Teacher dragged us outside and the interaction went like this. Teacher: OP, what's going on? Vamp says you're harassing them. Yeah, he's insulting my beliefs. Now, OP, you know we don't tolerate that kind of thing here. What? He believes he's a vampire? Come on, OP, he doesn't believe? No, I am a vampire. Teacher just stopped dead with an exhausted look on her face. Looked at Fat Vamp for a minute, looked at me, and then back at Vamp again before going, you know what? Just keep separated from each other. Eventually, that kid got expelled for writing a big revenge manifesto on MySpace with a bunch of kids' names on it, including yours truly. TLDR, went to school with morbidly obese vampires. So, to me, this sounds like somebody just saw that whole vampire episode of South Park and was just like, oh, I'll just make them neckbeards and make it into a story. But I've decided that I'm changing my perspective on these neckbeard stories. Instead of just, like, being like, oh, it's fake, this is stupid, I'd rather think of them as, like, urban legends that you tell around the campfire. Like, yeah, it may be far-fetched, yeah, it may sound crazy, but, like, every once in a while it's true, man, and you gotta watch out for these people. Okay, so this is the top post on r/Neckbeard Stories of all time. I live with a feminist and a neckbeard. Hello, Reddit. Recently stumbled on this sub. After spending an embarrassing amount of time laughing and cringing, I couldn't not tell you about the gold mine that has been my living situation for the past 6 months. Warning, on phone, can't format. Made this account because my beard roommate knows my main, and it has personal stuff tied to it. I'm a 23-year-old dude trying to figure out what the heck to do with my life who got lucky enough to score this awesome place. Great location, great rent price, great building. Apparently what happened was a pipe burst and the tenants had to emergency move while it was being fixed. Apparently 2 out of 3 previous ones had found other places, and the one, Feminist, had paid rent way in advance but was backpacking when it was ready, so she let the landlord choose who moved in. I just got lucky. Landlord owed Neckbeard's parents a favor. She's 24, he's 27. Small list of incidents so far. First day moving in and meeting him, Beardo attempts to bond over furry adult nighttime movies because of my Werewolf Apocalypse book. It's not nearly the same thing. Feminist is a vegan. Beardo spiked her food and she got sick for a day. Beardo attempted the silent treatment over Femme bringing male friends over. When that didn't work, he threw a tantrum. Femme was an ironworker apprentice, then a plumber apprentice. Now she's going into nursing school. Beardo attempted to educate her on why women shouldn't work. She deliberately blew the fuses in the apartment so that Beardo and me, TBH, couldn't game and made him apologize. He didn't know about circuit breakers. Beardo's ideals seem to fluctuate somewhere between incel and red pill stuff to intense chivalrous and milady bullshit. I never know what I'm going to hear or how Femme is going to be approached that day. Femme made me show Beardo how to do laundry because you're another fucking man and he fucking reeks, and do you think that fucker is going to listen to a fucking woman? It took an hour and was awful, and he doesn't use detergent when he does it. I tried. He attempts to male bond with me, I'm also rather nerdy, but usually comes back to why women don't like him and bitches and chivalry, and all I can do is smile and nod. He won't take any advice. He's just too much of a nice guy. Sad because I've seen he could be a cool dude if he did straighten up. If I bring a girl over, any girl, friend or otherwise, he insults the shit out of me and tries to be smooth with her, and it's just creepy. He's also asked for their numbers, if he can have them when I'm done, and for intimate details. Just no. He attempted to set a moral code in the apartment over Femme drinking, bringing her friends with benefits over, and walking around in short shorts. It's fine for us to drink and walk around in just boxers, though. Femme told him where to go. He tried to host an intervention over Femme drinking on the weekends. This included somehow getting her parents' info and calling her dad. Her dad is ex-military and liberal. It ended with her dad coming over and screaming for 2 hours at Beardo. Then Femme came home, surprised to see her dad, learned what Beardo did, and they both proceeded to scream for at least another 20 minutes, at which point I had to go to work. Femme is bad at doing the dishes and cleaning in general. Fortunately, I'm pretty slack and bad at them too, but Beardo took it upon himself to nag Femme after leaving some bowls in a pot over the weekend. Femme barged into his room and snapped a bunch of pictures of the filth and threatened to send them over to the landlord and his mother. He apologized. Femme sent them anyway, and his mother was over yelling and making him clean. I stayed at a friend's overnight. To be honest, I'm genuinely unsure if he likes Femme or hates her, or if because she's female he feels the need to be something to her. She's definitely not your usual beard bait. She's cute, but she's loud, tall, and has some really intense personality traits. I'm still confused by it. I think Femme is too. She's the one that half-jokingly said it's like I'm the kid caught between 2 parents staying together for me. Well, that's a quick summary. I'll have more to write, but my thumbs are getting tired. Hope it's entertaining. If you like it, I'll be sure to write more or more about these moments. So I know I quite literally just said that thing about like, oh, these are urban legends, some of them might be true, but like this one, dude, it feels like things that could only exist in a sitcom. Like, first off, we've got the feminist just allowing the landlord to choose who your new roommates are. Like, I don't know if I'm just sheltered or inexperienced, but I cannot imagine a person who's just like, yeah, I'll take any roommate at all. I don't need to meet them or figure out who I'm gonna be sharing my intimate space with. Just you pick. And that's not to say that people don't live with roommates for years that they hate for financial reasons, but I feel like most people will at least try to figure out, for starters, if this person seems okay or not. And amidst other crazy things, I really think that these authors need to work on not over exaggerating amounts of time, because the ex-military dad comes over and screams for 2 hours at Beardo. Don't you think he would have run out of things to scream about after maybe 10 minutes? How are you just gonna go on a 2-hour monologue at this guy? Regardless of all that, very entertaining story, glad that it exists on this planet. Now, before we get into this story, I just wanted to make everybody aware, I do have a music channel. I just posted a new song over there based on a suggestion from one of you guys that I randomly selected, and it just so happens to be my girlfriend gets tragically turned into an octopus, and I'm beat up about it. More details at the end of the video. Anyway, into the story, my sister, possibly a future Legbeard. Hello all, I've come here today to introduce my lovely sister, who I've recently labeled a future Legbeard. I don't want to officially label her as a Legbeard since she's only 14 right now and may, hopefully please God, grow out of this cringy phase. However, she is, as of right now, a perfect Legbeardy storm of pure cringe, and shows all the signs. I know, she's still at the age where she's going to be cringy. We were all at least a little cringy in middle school. I shudder at the thought of my 8th grade year, but this goes way beyond anything normal. As far as her appearance goes, she's shorter than average and still pretty skinny, although she's recently started eating nothing but Doritos and hot dogs, and it's showing, so that won't last long. She wears her hair long and never wants to wash or brush it, so it's a greasy rat's nest. She only wears black graphic t-shirts, mostly Naruto or Minecraft related, jeans that are too short for her, and beat up hand-me-down combat boots that I used to wear back in my emo phase, 5 years ago, topped off with a Walmart fedora and ninja star necklace. Her interests are equally as cringy. She says she's really into anime despite only watching Naruto and Pokemon. She's the type of person to go around wearing cat ears and calling her friends senpai. She's also really into Fortnite right now, which she spends about 8 hours a day playing on weekends. I should also mention that she's an emo furry and an amazing artist. That's kind of mean to put that in quotations. She claims that she doesn't even need to graduate high school because it's not important since she's going to be a professional artist. It's not good, guys. I have some pictures from her sketchbooks if anyone actually reads this and wants to see them. Why would you expose her young, youthful art, bro? No, that's so unfair, dude. Her personality is by far the worst thing about her. It can basically be summed up as entitled bitch with a superiority complex. She's failing out of middle school at this point, simply because she refuses to do work she considers beneath her. She's the type of person who expects everything to be handed to her and blames everyone around her if things don't go her way. She has tantrums on a regular basis, usually that result in violence and a destroyed room. She's the type of person that thinks that everyone else around her is intellectually beneath her, and by using fancy outdated language and no slang, she's automatically smarter than the rest of us Neanderthals. I've been struggling with every single word that includes an S. I'm so sorry, guys. I have plenty of stories I could tell about her. If anyone wants to hear about the pain of living with a 14-year-old Legbeard, I can post more about her. So as I was rereading this story sounds kind of familiar, so feel free to roast me if I've covered this before, but a lot of this stuff sounds like something a person could grow out of, especially all of the non-personality things, and even the pseudo-intellectualism. I feel like people will get over you being cringe at some point, but this whole violent outbursts and destroying her room, that's the sort of stuff where you could actually have people hold it against you for a long time because you did something violent to them. So that would be the most concerning to me. On screen right now is that new emo song on my music channel. I would love to hear what you guys have to say, especially music appreciators or critics. All criticism is welcome, as well as the incel video from yesterday. Hope everybody's doing super well, skating on to the best of your abilities, and drinking a lot of water. I'll see y'all super soon. Channel members on the left, of course. Peace out, Cub Scouts.